Chapter 115. The Three Families Meeting. Let's go. Gentlemen, I've long heard that Demon Yuan City is a great city, known far and wide. This time it's the right time to see it. Kang Chong coldly scanned the distant Zhong clan's men and women and said with a big smile, "Overlord, please, please." The crowd also laughed and followed suit, leaving the Bi and Paul together. In this way, the huge centaurs of the Yun family, the Shenta family, and the Zhou family all left in great numbers. As these people left, the crowd in the arena couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But immediately after, the crowd all looked towards the only two remaining water spirit fruits in the Bi and Paul with blazing gazes, all revealing looks of excitement and frenzied excitement. Gentlemen, these two water spirit fruits were left by the Overlord for our Zhong family, so I hope that you will please return them. Zhong Tianhao stepped forward at this time, channeling his thick true essence, and said to the surrounding crowd. The faces of the crowd immediately sank. The Zhong family was too shameless. Who knew if Kang Qian had left it for them? After all, the Zhong family had not helped just now. There was no guarantee that Kang Qian would not be angry. Everyone present would not give up the water spirit fruit at this time. They disdained Zhong Tianhao's words in their hearts. HMPH. Hegemon didn't say that he would give it to your Zhong family. Your Zhong family's skin is too thick. No wonder Hegemon doesn't give a damn about you. A loud voice suddenly came from amongst the crowd. This voice came from nowhere, and it was obvious that the other party could hide from detection. Zhong Tianhao's eyes turned cold, knowing that what he was worried about in his heart had happened. Kang Qian's move had put them in a completely passive position, and now this voice had pushed them to the opposite side of the crowd. Everyone, the Overlord is generous, so he only took 5 water spirit fruits. These remaining 2 are naturally reserved for us. We will fight for them based on our strength, and will never give in to each other. That voice appeared once again, infuriating Zhong Tianhao with gritted teeth and secret hatred. Right, never give in, never give in. The crowd all raised their fists and shouted. There were thousands of casual cultivators in the field, and thousands of various small forces, adding up to tens of thousands of people. Even the Zhong family did not dare to underestimate them. Since that's the case, let's each compete with our strength. Seeing this scene, Zhong Tianhao's face was completely gloomy as he took the lead in charging towards the Bi and Paul. Behind him, the grey-clothed old man and Zhong Kixan also followed closely. Quickly, don't let the Zhong clan's people get their hands on it, otherwise none of us will have a chance. HMPH. If we join forces together, I don't believe we can't defeat a few hundred of them. Brothers, let's go together. Even if we can't capture the water spirit fruit, don't let the Zhong family get it. Let them know that we loose cultivators aren't to be messed with. A crowd of people shouted and rushed towards the Bi and Paul, and a fierce battle erupted in the sky above the Bi and Paul. It was a very tragic battle. The previous cultivators fell, and scarlet blood dyed the Bi and Paul red. In the end, the Zhong family still obtained a water spirit fruit, but they paid a heavy price. Both Zhong Tianhao, the grey-clothed old man, and Zhong Kixan, all of them suffered considerable injuries, and the Zhong family lost more than half of their men and women, and the ones who were alive were also seriously injured. There was still 1 water spirit fruit left that Zhong Tianhao didn't dare to grab anymore, or else he was afraid that the Zhong family's men and horses would all die later. Even now, there were still quite a few people around gawking at them. Go! Zhong Tianhao shouted angrily and led the crowd away. The eyes of those loose cultivators and small forces immediately turned to the other water spirit fruit, and once again a tragic battle broke out, and in the end, this water spirit fruit was desperately seized by a powerful loose cultivator, which caused this water spirit fruit fiasco to return to peace. Demon Yuan City, located in the extreme north of the Great Tang region, is the closest to the Great Tang imperial capital of a large city. Ranked among the top 10 cities of the Great Tang, Its scale is not below the Fengdu city, or even better. At this moment, a procession of hundreds of people sailed into Demon Yuan City with great vigor, causing the passers-by to watch. Look, it's the centaurs of the Shenta family, Yun family, and Zhou family. Have they returned from their fight for the water spirit fruit? Strange, when did these three families become so close that they came back together? Where are the Zhong family's centaurs? As the three great families' centaurs marched in, a murmur of discussion resounded around the city gates, as one cultivator after another converged, curiously gazing at the huge procession arching in the distance. Kang Chon was still sharing a car with the Yun family sisters, listening to these two sisters chatter non-stop along the way. Yun Shuiru's fiery gaze was a little uncomfortable to watch, but it was that younger sister, Yun Hong Mai, who appeared to be a little shy and mischievous, and was always asking Kang Chon about the battle at Fengdu Mountain. Not long after, Kang Chon arrived at the Cloud Mansion, along with the Yun family's crowd, and early on the road, he had already agreed to temporarily settle down at the Cloud Mansion. Shen Tepeng and Zhou Yunji would send the extreme spirit stones tomorrow. Kang Chon was prepared to stay in the Cloud Mansion for a period of time, waiting for the Dan Emperor to refine the wall-breaking pill, then impacting the 9th transformation realm. And when he had reached the 9th transformation, he would then head to the Imperial capital to participate in that final battle contract. Big brother Kang Chon, we've arrived. At the entrance of the Yun mansion, the Yun family sisters excitedly pulled Kang Chon out of the car and invited him to enter the Yun mansion. Uncle Ma, on the other hand, left first, not knowing where to go. Soon after, Kang Chon was arranged by the Yun family sisters to stay in a quiet courtyard. Kid, you're blessed with a lot of lust. Although these two girls are not as good as that flower thinking wrong. But the two sisters look exactly the same. So there's something else. Do you really have no idea? Do you really have no idea? I'm sure that if you propose marriage, the Yun family's old men will definitely agree. When the Yun family sisters left, Emperor Dan ran out smilingly and said. Kang Chon rolled his eyes at the words and laughed bitterly. Save your breath. Right now I'm only interested in cultivation. As for the matter of feelings, it's better to talk about it later. Besides, it won't be long before we're heading to the Heavenly Dao sect. At that time, everything in the Great Tang will be a thing of the past. That's right, with your kid's talent, this tiny Great Tang cultivation world can't trap you. In the future, the entire Flood Continent cultivation world will be your heaven and earth. But it doesn't matter. The Flood Continent has a lot of beautiful women, as far as I know. That 100 Flowers sex, every generation of the Holy Maiden, is a peerless beauty among 10,000. When the time comes, you kids should grasp it well, Dan Emperor said smilingly. Your old man should still go and refine pills. That's your proper business. Kang Tian sniffed in exasperation, and after throwing the reverse heavenly cauldron to him, he went to the side to meditate and cultivate alone. Alas, what an unappreciative brat. Isn't the old man cultivating the next generation of Kang Chon hegemonic blood for the Flood World continent, and your brat still doesn't appreciate it, humph. Emperor Dang grunted and took the reverse heavenly cauldron to the side to refine pills. Shento House, in a heavily guarded house, Shen Tepeng was reporting the process of the water spirit fruit scramble to a middle-aged man. This middle-aged man was the Shenta family's contemporary family head, Shenta Hong. Family head, that's how it happened. The unexpected appearance of the overlord was not expected by anyone, Shen Tepeng respectfully said. In front of Shen Tepeng, after listening to his report, family head Shen Tehong looked for a trace of satisfaction and praised, you handled it well this time. Not only did you befriend the overlord, but you also obtained a water spirit fruit. I'll remember this credit. Serving the clan. I am willing to bow and scrape. However, those 3 extreme spirit stones, you see, Shen Tepeng looked at Shen Tehong with some concern. After all, extreme spirit stones are very precious. He did not know if Shen Tehong had the courage to take out 3 extreme spirit stones to befriend the hegemon, a young supreme being. When Shen Tehong heard this, he laughed and said boldly, "A mere 3 extreme grade spirit stones. My Shen Te family can still afford to pay for them. Moreover, with Bo Wang's talent and potential, not to mention 3 or even 30 or 300, it's still far from enough." Shen Tepeng heard the words and was immediately relieved. The family head is really still farther than he can see. And it is precisely because of this that the current Shen Te family is becoming more and more prosperous. But it is a pity that, at this time, a sigh came from Shen Tehong's ears, saying, "This time, I wanted you to take Fenga out to see some things. But I didn't think that he was still so unbearable to be taught. Alas, it's a pity that Jia's practice of Kung Fu at a young age has gone off the rails to the point that he is now schizophrenic, causing me to place my hopes on Fenga, but it's a pity that he's too much of a disappointment to me." Shen Tepeng also sighed lightly at his words. This was also his worry, even the worry of the entire Shen Te family. Although the Shen Te family was now powerful, but the embarrassing matter of having no one to follow in their footsteps made them helpless. Shen Teji talent is superb, even now schizophrenic. That is also the great Tang cultivation world of young supreme figure. Future achievements can be imagined. But this crazy person only has the sword way in his heart. When he goes crazy, he even kills his own family members. So how would Shen Tehong dare to hand over the Shen Te family to him? Although Shen Tefeng has good talent, but he is too proud and arrogant. Once he is in charge of the Shen Te family, he still does not know what kind of turmoil he will cause. Moreover, Shen Tefeng had always hated Shen Teji, so there was no guarantee that they would not fight each other in the future. At the thought of such a situation, several of the older generation figures of the Shen Te family all sighed. Family head, Jia is the pride of heaven. Even if there is no such thing as going off the rails in the future, this great Tang cultivation world will not be able to trap him. We don't need to worry about him. As long as the higher his achievements are, the stronger the deterrence given to outsiders will be. And this is also considered to be a kind of guardianship in disguise for our Shen Te clan. Shen Tepeng said. Shen Tehong smiled, pondered for a moment, and said, "I don't know what you said. What I'm worried about now is that Fenga can't be used. What should be done about this next generation?" Shen Tepeng was speechless at his words. There was nothing he could do. The few Shen Te family children in the next generation were not outstanding. Reporting to the family master, young Master Ji has returned. The guard commander accidentally offended young Master Ji. He was seriously injured by young Master Ji's sword. He is now unconscious. If not for the old ancestor master's timely intervention, he would have died by now. Just at this moment, a shaky voice of a Shen Te family disciple came from outside the door. Shen Tehong and Shen Tepeng were both stunned at the sound of his voice. This was truly speaking of the devil. Shen Teji, the mad warrior who had been drifting outside for a long time, had returned. The commander of the guards is at the 7th level of the Jidan stage. Jia was able to seriously injure one of the swords. Could it be that he has already practiced? Shen Tepeng was then shocked. That's right, with this kind of strength, Jia should have practiced sword 4. Shen Tehong smiled with a bitter smile. If it was another family's child with such a great talent, he should be happy. But how could he be happy? Back then, that senior saw Jia's qualifications and left behind a book of mutilated sword techniques, saying that if he was able to practice 5 of them, he would be able to reign supreme amongst his peers. And now that Jia has already practiced the 4th sword, I'm afraid that, in the entire Great Tang cultivation realm, there is no one left to compete with him, except for the 4 emperors of the imperial capital and the 3 kings of Fendu. Shen Tepeng sighed. Back then, a cultivator with unfathomable cultivation passed by this place and saw Shen Teji's talent. So he left behind a book of broken sword techniques, saying that if Shen Teji was able to practice 5 of the 7 sword styles therein, he would accept him as his disciple. I don't know if that senior still remembers this matter. If Jia can really be under his tutelage, perhaps there is a chance to repair the injuries from going off the deep end. A trace of hope flashed in Shen Tehong's eyes. Then he droned at the door. Go down and inform everyone that from today onwards, whoever sees Jia must stay 100 feet away from him. In addition, send someone to guard Fenga and not let him meet with Jia.